Hello everyone, welcome to another video of Cloud Deep Dive. Before we start today's video, I just wanted to show you our channel, Cloud Deep Dive YouTube channel, and we have multiple videos from AWS on this channel. Some of the videos cover our new latest release or new products launched by AWS recently. I have a whole series on the cost optimization as well, and right now we are working on AWS networking series. And if you want to see our previous videos on networking, you can go to playlist and check out all the videos under AWS networking. So in today's video, we will be talking about DNS domain name system, and we will talk about how that work, how your domain get converted to a IP address behind the scene, what are the steps you can take, and how you can map a domain to a IP address or to your EC2 instance. So we'll do all those things in this video. So without wasting any time, let's get started. Okay guys, so what is DNS? DNS is domain name system, and domain name system is used to translate domain names into IP addresses so that users can easily navigate to sites on the internet without having to memorize long specific strings of numbers and letters. As we all know, whenever a website is hosted on any server, the server can have only an IP address. So basically, the machines can talk by using the IP addresses. And when you host your website or anything on the server, you get a public IP address by using, you can reach to that server. But if you give that IP address to somebody, saying that suppose you have a clouddeepdive.com website and you're trying to reach it to it by using an IP address, or if you give that IP address to the people, okay, you can use this IP address to reach out to my site, it will be very difficult for everyone to remember that particular IP address name. So what we do, we purchase the domain name and we give that domain name to everyone so that they can remember it easily. And behind the scene, the domain name gets converted to the IP address, so that whenever somebody is trying to reach to the domain name, it gets converted to the IP address and it hit that particular server. So DNS is a system which use or which convert that domain name into an IP range or kind of IP address. Sorry. So in today's video, we'll talk about how the whole conversion part happen, how you can purchase the domain, and how you can map the domain with your EC2 instance where your website is running. And during that whole process, we'll learn different terminologies as well. So moving to DNS, first let's understand what is a domain and what are the different parts of a domain. So whenever you go to the website or you type in your path at https dot colon slash slash www.domainname.com. So here HTTP or HTTPS, this is just the protocol how your packets will be translated, whether it be secure or non-secure. www is your subdomain. So it's just a subdomain of your domain. You can have like hr.amazon.com or maybe finance.amazon.com or maybe aws.amazon.com. So it can be anything. You can use it. You can create a subdomain of your main domain. Then you have the domain name like Cloud Deep Dive or maybe amazon.com or maybe yahoo.com or maybe google.com. So those are your domain name, so name of your domain. And then you have you can have either .net or .com or .edu .org. There's so many uh, different things you can use, and this thing is called your top level domain. So how it works, that you have a root level domain, which is, we call it a dot, and under that you have different top level domains. And I just put three or four, but the limit, this is very big list nowadays. You can have a .net, .com, .org, .edu. You can have .us, .eu for Europe, and so on. So there are many top level domains. So and when we talk about top level domain, basically these are the servers running all over the world which have a registry on a root level domain. So root level domain is again a server which has information about these servers of these .net or .com or .org or .edu servers. Now when you purchase any domain, suppose you purchase the example.com domain, this will be registered at a registrar's office, and like Google domain is one of the registrar, or maybe Amazon Route 53 is another registrar. So you go and purchase your domain from them, and those are your registrar. And when you purchase the domain, so what they will do, they go back to top level domain and tell them, okay, hey guys, this domain is purchased, and if somebody is looking for some information, so send it to us. So they create a path between them. Now, how you purchase and how that process work. So as an end user, you are called registrant. Registrant is basically who is purchasing the domain. So to purchase the domain, I'll come back to the reseller part. Let's go to the registrar first. You go to the registrar and ask them, hey, I want to purchase the domain. So registrar can be your Route 53, uh, Amazon Route 53, or it can be Google domain. So you go to them and search for your website, whatever you're looking, and you register that domain with them. So once you register the domain with them, you purchase the domain with them, you provide your information, so they keep it with them, and then they go back to your top level domain. Top level domain is .com or .net. Based on what type of domain you purchased, they tell them, okay, hey guys, this particular domain is sold, and if somebody is looking for that information, I sold it, you can send it to me, because the same domain can be sold by Google, same domain can be sold by Route 53 as well, or GoDaddy as well. So these registrar tell them that, okay, hey, if somebody is looking, so send it to us, so we have the information, so it's registered with us. And all the information about this top level domain, top, about the top level domains is registered or being stored at the root level domain. So that's how your registration process works. And reseller is basically, they are not actual registrars, they just kind of purchase the domain and reselling it to you. So sometime you might have seen that there are some companies who are selling these domains at a higher price, and they're just charging the premium charge because they purchase it upfront from them and keeping it with them, and then they are reselling it to you guys. So hope you understand that how whenever you purchase the domain, what happened behind the scene, how the registries and the servers are getting updated. With that, what happened now? Suppose you purchase the example.com domain and you're trying to reach out to the server. So what all steps it take behind the scene to convert that example.com into an IP address? Because in the end, your end user will talk to a server by using the IP address. It cannot talk by using the example.com. So this example.com needs to be converted to an IP address. And to convert that domain name to an IP address, it goes through several processes. So before I walk you through these, there are two different terms: authoritative DNS server and recursive DNS server. And what these servers are: authoritative DNS servers are like a phone book company that publish multiple phone books. So if you talk about DNS root server, because it has multiple phone book, that means multiple top level domain server list is stored in that. Top level domain server has list of different registrars. So these all are called your authoritative DNS server. And DNS server or DNS resolver is known as a recursive DNS server. And the reason is because it makes recursive call. And when I walk you through this example, you will get to know that how it's making a recursive call to get the IP address. So first, what happened that as an end user, you go to the website, suppose example.com, it first make a request to your DNS server, and your DNS server, like if you're sitting at home, so your ISP might be acting as your DNS server, or it might be using some other third-party company to act as a DNS server, but normally ISPs are they act as a DNS server. So whenever this DNS server get a request, it says that, okay, I don't have IP address for that, but let me go and find it. So very first thing what it does, it goes to DNS root server dot server, like dot. Uh, so it goes there and it asks that, hey, I want an IP address for example.com. Do you have that? DNS root name server say, hey, I don't have that, but since it's coming for .com, I can send you somewhere who might have, or who will have more details about this particular domain name. So it gives the name server or kind of IP address or the detail about the name server, top level domain server, because it says that, okay, it's .com, so you can go to the .com server. So it sends the information about it. DNS server say, okay, let me go to .com server and find out more information. It again send the same query to .com top level domain server. Top level domain server say, hey, that example.com is being registered, I know, but I don't have IP address, but I can send you a person or a server who has more information about it. because whenever a registrar registered it, they told them, hey, if somebody is coming to you and asking for information about example.com, send it to me. They have that information. So what they will do, they will provide the information of the registrar, and in this case is route 53 name server. So it will send this information to the DNS server, and DNS server will do again a call to the uh, registrar. So it will send in that, hey registrar, I need an IP address for example.com. He said, oh yeah, I have the IP address of that because I know I solved it. So he will provide that IP address to a DNS server, and the DNS server will provide an IP address to the end client who was requesting for this IP address for this domain, and then the IP address can send that particular query to the web server and get the information from here. So you can see that here DNS resolver or the DNS server is making multiple calls in a recursive order. This first going to root, and then TLD server, then your name server or registrar in getting that information. So that's why it's known as a recursive server as well. So DNS server acts as a recursive servers, and all these name servers act as an authoritative server. So this is the process it takes to convert an domain name into an IP address. So hope it's clear. Now let's go to our AWS console. What we'll do, we'll buy a new domain. I'll show you what are the steps to buy a domain, and then we'll map the domain to our EC2 instance and see how it works. Okay guys, so I have logged in into my AWS console, and what I've done that I've spun up one EC2 instance with a public IP address, and if I go to that public IP address 52.24.131.242, it just have a simple HTML page saying welcome to Cloud Deep Dive. So now what we will be doing, I'll show you steps how you can purchase a new domain and how you can map that domain with this IP address. So instead of using this IP address, we use that particular domain name, which will uh, show you the same web page. So to buy the domain names, there are a couple of options. You can go to Route 53, and under domains you can do a registered domain, and you can do a registered new domain. So from here you can choose, suppose you want suppose I want to do clouddeepdive.net. So it will check whether that is available. So .net is not available, but you can have .biz or .mobi or .org. So there are different top level domains are there you can use, and they are different price based on what top level domain you want to uh, purchase. So from here, suppose I want to purchase learnclouddeepdive.com, and I can add to cart and continue and provide all the information about yourself, credit card information and all this, and you can purchase it. So I won't go through, I won't purchase it because I already have a domain with different name on Google. So I'll be using that one to map to this EC2 instance. So, and to find the new domain on the Google as well as the same process, you can use search for that. Suppose I say Cloud Deep Dive, I can search it and it will show you. So .net and .com is not available, but others .org, info and US are available, so you can purchase those accordingly. So I have already have a domain. If I go to my domain, I have egpronet.biz. That's my domain is already there. So if right now you go to egpronet.biz, it won't work because there is no server link to it. So if you see from our diagram, so I have registered the domain with Google. It makes the registry at the name level server top level domain, that if somebody is coming, send it to me. But this registrar does not have any information to which server we need to send. So for that we'll set it up that whenever a request is coming to it, so DNS, whenever I'm putting the egpronet.base, is sending to root level, is sending to TLD, is sending to registrar, but registrar does not have any information to which server we need to send. So let's see how we can do it. For that, what we will do, we'll go to our Route 53 and select, and we'll go to hosted zone. So Route 53 has two type of hosted zone. One is public hosted zone and one is private hosted zone. Public hosted zone is where you can expose your services to outside world, and private is only within the AWS infrastructure. And we'll have a separate video on Route 53 where we'll talk about more in detail. But from today's video, let's just stick to that. About public hosted zones, and we'll create one. So to create it, we'll click on create uh, hosted zone, and we'll give the domain name. So domain name should match with what you own. So in this case, I have agpronet.biz. If you want to provide some description, you can provide it. And here you can select what type of hosted zone you want to create. So we want public one. So let's do create. Okay, so the moment you create it, it gives you some two records. One is NS record, one is SOA record, and this NS records is basically the information which you need to provide it to registrar, that tells that okay, whenever a some query is coming from agpronet.biz, you have to send this to these NS record. These are basically the server names of Route 53 where the information will come. So let's copy these domain servers and go to the domain. Under that you will find the DNS. So right now it's using the Google domain name server, but we don't want that. We want our custom one, because our website is not hosted on Google. Our website is hosted on Route 53. So instead, because right now it's trying to find out that answer from these servers. Whenever the query is coming, is sending, okay, do you know what is the IP address of example.com, and it does not have any information about that. So for that we provide our own name server. So first one, sorry, and let's add, so at least we have to provide two of them, but let me add all four of them. Save. Okay, so what will happen now, whenever uh, any request will come, Google will try to find out an answer from these domain name servers which are provided. And keep in mind that it may take up to 48 hours to make it effective, but normally it takes around 15 to 20 minutes. So what I'll do, I'll pause my video here, and then we'll come back and we'll see how it works. So wait, before that I need to do one more thing. So right now it will come here, but we haven't linked our EC to IP address to it, so let's do that as well. So for now, when it will come here, the request will come to this domain server. How it will know that which server I need to send? So for that we have to create a record. We'll create a record, and a record is basically just mapping your um, domain name to the IP address. So basically whenever the request is coming, we'll have the A type record, and it will take you to this IP address. So we'll add this IP address here and create record. And another record we can create is, suppose if somebody is doing www, for that we create a CNAME, and CNAME is basically mapping one uh, uh, domain name to the another domain name. So if somebody is giving a www.agpronet.biz, so we'll route it to agpronet.biz, and once it go to agpronet.biz, it will be again converted back to IP address. So let's do create. Okay, so everything is set. Now let's see if it works. Otherwise I'll pause the video, and yeah, I think we need to wait for 10-15 minutes, and then I'll come back once I start working. Okay guys, it took around 15 minutes to propagate all the changes and update the servers at Google side. So after that I was able to, so you can see that when I use agpronet.biz, it's showing the same data what we have on this IP address. So behind the scene is converting this domain name to this IP address and displaying the content from that IP address. So that's it guys for this video. Hope you understand what is domain and how it get converted to IP address, and how you can map your domain name to an IP address, or basically to an EC2 server running uh, on your AWS infrastructure. And it can be anything. If you see, you can have any public IP address which may be from your on-prem as well, and it will route you there as well. So hope you like the video, guys. Please share with your friends if you found it useful, and subscribe to our channel, and press the bell icon to get the latest update on our videos. I'm posting weekly video. Right now we are working on a networking series, and I will be posting more videos on new products as AWS launch. If you have any particular suggestion or any particular topic you would like to learn, please let me know, and I will try to record a video on that as well. Till now, thank you so much, guys. Have a nice day. Bye.